Hey everybody, it's your girl Giggles. Make sure and go check out Listen Up, Listen In podcast with Preezy. Real talk for real people.
Do you have a passion project you want to bring to life? Let Jamila Adams at Your Service help you. Jamila Adams at Your Service was created to assist businesswomen 40 plus by bringing their passion project to life through website design and marketing. Visit her website, jamilaadamsatyourservice.com, and register for a free 30-minute consultation. Remember, you have a voice. Use it.
Tanya, you ready?
Listen up, listen in. 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 Thanks for tuning in. Let's have a conversation. Talking worldwide, it don't matter your location. What you going through and the topic may have relation. Let's get some motivation. Let's swap out education. Every Friday we heal, laugh, improve, and grow. Put some nutrients in your mind, give you food for the soul. I know you pumped and preparing for your weekend and low. Might as well join the discussion and tune into the show. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in.
Hey everybody, this is Preezy from Listen Up, Listen In podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's a beautiful day, and with a beautiful day, I have a beautiful guest. Now y'all know I have great guests, so come on now. But let me tell you a little bit about this beautiful young lady before she comes on and tell you her story. She's originally from Poland, although currently she's residing in Malta, pursuing a degree in criminology while working in a bookshop. In addition to her academic and professional pursuits, she's very passionate about exploring her creative side through writing and reading. She published her first book, Finding My Voice Again, which explores her journey to healing after being a survivor of sexual violence. And she also has a book out called Shadows of My Mind, which explores her fight with depression. So without further ado, let's give a round of applause for my guest, Agata. How you doing, Agata?
Hi, I'm alright. Just getting the day.
I hear that. And what time is it for you? Where you at? Where you at again? Tell the world what time it is.
So I'm currently in Malta, which is a very small island in Europe, close to Sicily and Italy. It's after 4 p.m. already, so I already did some work in the morning, and yeah, just really chilling right now.
I hear that. Yeah. So it's 10:20 a.m. where we at. So wow, you got us by 6 hours. So wow. Now I
Yes.
told everybody and I read your bio. I let everybody know who you are and what you've done. But only you can tell your story. So let everybody know that's listening who Agata is.
Damn, that's actually a hard question, to be honest. Well, technically I'm an author right now and a student. So I'm studying criminology, which is a very interesting subject, and I'm feeling very passionate about it, especially the part of victimology, which is the study of survivors of crime, which I also have experienced, and I think my experiences led me to pursue this type of career. And really what I want to do is to help people in the future. And I think also by writing and by publishing my books, I can help other people who can relate to me and people who I can relate to. maybe feel a little bit better by their after what happened to them, as I was also researching authors and books who were covering traumas and topics of sexual violence that I experienced.
Wow. That's deep. That's deep. So when did you decide to get involved in that? When did you decide to, um,
Mm,
you know, can you tell us a little bit, or you don't really want to go into it? Like, how old were you when this happened, and how did you get through it? Did you go to therapy? Did you tell someone? But if you don't want to discuss it, I understand.
oh, that's all right. I mean, it is hard for me, but I think that by sharing, I also feel a little bit better, and it's easier for me to come to terms with what happened, even if quite a few years happened from certain things already. So you know how it is, like you grow up as a girl or as a woman, you get harassed a lot,
Right.
I would say, and also being a part of LGBT community because I'm pansexual. When I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, I would be harassed, or because I have a rainbow tattoo, I would be harassed too. So I kind of get used to that in a way from in where I grew up, even though I come from a big city. Um, but then when I was like growing up and my body was developing, I was getting like more attention from the male population of my country, or yeah, sorry. um
It's okay. Take your time. It's okay. No worries.
Thank you. um so yeah, it always starts like whistling, calling names, and then sometimes people will be more persistent, so they would try to engage with you more. But what was, I don't want to say the worst, but all right. So when I moved to Malta, so I moved for university. I was here all alone. My mom came with me for a few days at first to help me settle, but besides that, I didn't really have any friends, and also as a Polish woman, I look very different from Mediterranean type of beauty. So I do look foreign, which makes me think that people think about you as an easy target because you look different, and
Right.
it seems like you have no support where you are. And just one time I was with this other person, and well, I'm not going to go into any details, but I was raped.
Wow.
And I remember because it was a bit away of my home, but I like didn't know where I was at the time. I just remember, going out, and it was very dark outside because it was during the night, and I was just walking, trying to figure out how to get home. And when I finally reached my room, I just collapsed and I couldn't get up, and I was just like there waiting for I don't know really.
Did you know this person? Did you know them?
Um, so I recognize them because I met this person once before, so it was the second time that I was seeing him.
Right.
But I can't really say that I knew him because it was very brief.
Right. So what happened? Did you contact the police? Did you call anybody or?
Um, to be fair, in my mind, I was trying to process what happened,
Right.
and for some time I was not able to call it rape. I wasn't even saying that it was a bad experience. I was just trying to forget about it. But it was very hard because I was getting flashbacks. I was having nightmares about what happened, and I had a really hard time figuring out what happened in my mind because rape couldn't happen to me, or it must have been my fault sometimes, or no one will believe me if I speak up. And I was in therapy at that time because I was struggling with depression already since my teenage years. And I remember I was explaining to the therapist what happened, and she used the R word, she used the word rape, and it kind of hit me,
Right.
but I was still thinking, oh no, but I must have done something, like I could have done more to prevent it, or like I couldn't name this word. I was just always going around, like I was always saying I got hurt, I had a bad experience. I tried to avoid calling it as it is. And sometimes I still struggle with that when I have a bit of bad days and I'm feeling very, very low, or when I have nightmares. Still sometimes, even though it was over a year ago. No, but I'm lucky to have a partner that is very supportive, and he's always calming me down and making me feel safe.
Wow.
But
That had to be
yeah,
difficult. That had to
it really was. And I was thinking if I should go to the police or not. And it was a very hard decision because I know that I should, and I don't want anyone else to experience what I did. But it's very hard to prove that something happened, especially if it was months after, like in my case, when I was thinking about it. So I just decided to focus on my healing because this is like the most important for me. I'm the most important person in my life because after all, I'm spending my whole life with myself.
Right.
So I need to be okay.
Right. Wow. Wow. So you never got therapy.
No, I did. Just
It,
my adventures with therapies are quite complicated ones. Because I was starting and then ending, starting and ending.
right.
Because when I was feeling better, I was feeling like I waste time of the therapist's time, basically. And I was also at the moment I'm not in the therapy, and I think I'm feeling fine. But I know if I need it, there is an option for me to go back. I've been working with quite a few different therapists, and I know what works for me, what not.
Right.
And I'm also always working with like workbooks, uh, like CBT or healing sexual trauma workbook. One of like my favorite to kind of learn again the boundaries and how to regulate my mood and things like that. So I'm working on myself a lot, even though I'm not in therapy. And sometimes I think about going back, and there is no shame in that. And yeah, I'm looking always for the signs when I have a bad mood and when I have a very hard day, to just not hurt myself in any way. You know what I mean?
Did you ever think? So you thought about harming yourself at one point? You wanted to harm yourself?
Uh,
Did it ever come to your head to do that?
yes. So
Wow.
I used to self-harm uh, when I was a teenager,
Right.
and so I was struggling with depression and with anxiety. I was feeling a lot of pressure, like inside of me. I was never feeling good enough. I was always feeling like a failure, like I couldn't concentrate. My mind was full of intrusive thoughts. And at the time, it was my only way to release emotions, even for a short period of time. It was helping me, but of course, after even a few minutes, it was right back to where it was. So it is certainly not an ineffective method, which is also why I was writing a lot. Like I was having a diary, started writing poetry when I was a teenager. But it was not enough, so yeah, I had to start therapy. Uh, yeah, I started therapy when I was 18, really.
Right.
Sorry?
Wow. So nothing ever happened to this person. No charges.
Uh,
Nothing.
as far as I know, nothing happened.
Wow.
But it's also like I can hardly remember this
Right.
person. I remember what was happening, but I can't really place the person that I was with
Right.
that harmed me.
So you think you could have probably blocked him out? You just totally just blocked him out, just you know,
Yeah,
for your mental reasons. Just I don't even want to think about that person and what happened. Think that
yeah,
therapy helped you with that?
uh, I think it was my mind trying to protect me in
Right.
a way, because I kind of forgot right after it happened how did he look or what was his name. I don't know, my mind really focused only on the fact. And I don't know if it's better or worse, to be honest, because sometimes I do have like questions in a way because I don't remember everything. But I don't know if I would want to know everything. That is a very big issue that is going on with me sometimes.
Right. It's I'm sorry that you went through that. Um, because rape is a very traumatic experience, and it It affects that person, whether it's physical, psychological, sociological, and you suffer, and it could be long term, you know, um, just coping, of what happened, and uh, I know you need a lot of social support and recovery and professional services, to help you, and it's sad that people have to go through that, and I'm happy that you did go to therapy, even though it was off and on, but you took that step um for that um because of that situation. So, and has it affect you as far as other people, like just trusting people, being around people, being in relationships? Because um I know it could psychologically. Did that happen to you?
Yes,
Right.
definitely. So I was trying to hurt myself through other people after what happened to me. So I was putting myself in dangerous situations. So um, definitely people who are around me were worried about what I was doing. And in my current relationship, it still affects us sometimes. Because even though it doesn't happen as often as it used to, I'm still getting triggered. I'm still having nightmares. I still have some things that my partner cannot do
Right.
for me not to be hurt. And I do feel bad that I'm putting him in this situation, but
Right.
he's very understanding and he's always making me like feel good about myself and tries for me not to worry as much as I am, because he's trying to understand what happened to me. And yeah, it really affects him sometimes, though,
Right.
from
Well, I'm
from
glad.
what from my
I'm glad.
perspective.
Yeah, I'm glad he's supporting you. You got a lot of noise in the background, but I can hear you. It's just a little noisy in the
All right,
background, but it's okay. I just want to, I'm glad that
all right.
you have somebody that's supporting you. That's so important because, and then there's a lot of support groups. That a lot of people, um, individuals, connect with. Connecting with other people who have survived this traumatic experience. So I'm glad that you have somebody that helps you. Now, um, you got into criminology. Say you
Yes.
started studying that. Is that one of the reasons why? Because you went through a traumatic situation that you started to, you took the interest in that?
So I was raped after I started studying. Um, so I started studying criminology because I wanted to help in the future survivors of sexual violence and pedophilia.
Wow.
So hard topics. At the moment, I don't know if I will be able to do that with how I'm feeling right now, of course. But so I got into it in a weird, not weird, but in an interesting way, because at first I was interested in forensic science, so collecting evidence from the crime scenes. But then I was more fascinated by the human mind, and I wanted to understand why people commit certain crimes. And but there's no particular reason why I wanted to study that, or why I want to help these people. Well, now I'm more motivated to help survivors just like me, because I feel like I can understand, at least to a certain degree, or people can relate, or I can relate and help people better. But we'll see what happens in the future.
Right, right. How long you been studying criminology?
So 2 years. I'm finishing my second year now. So I have one last year with my dissertation next year on media representation of survivors of sexual violence. So I'm very interested also in that.
Wow, that's good. And it's nice that you want to help others that have gone through situations as far as being raped and any other traumatic experience with someone that has harmed them. Have you ever encountered someone that you know that has experienced it?
Um, I yes, now I remember. But well, I'm not going to get into any detail, but we
Right,
went through something similar.
right, right.
Mm.
Okay. So, whew, deep story, Agata.
Uh,
A deep story. I'm glad that you are able to talk about it because some people are not able to talk about it. So, um, I'm glad you are doing the best that you can in life to keep going. You know. And so you work at a bookshop. How's that? Tell me a little bit about that. You work at a bookshop right now.
um, yes, it's quite fun. Uh, yeah, we have a great team of girls. Um, One of our colleagues actually gave birth recently, so we are all very excited to meet the baby soon, hopefully. But in general, it's a nice job. Like you meet quite a few people, and they always tell you about like their favorite books, or they give you book recommendations.
Right.
So that's always very interesting. Or they ask you about your recommendations, so you can always like choose your favorites to just pass on to other people.
Right.
Uh, yeah, our bookshop doesn't have my book, unfortunately. Maybe in the future.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So you like to read? Well, you like to do a lot of reading?
I do. I love reading, and
What? What?
well, I'm
What?
trying not to buy as many books because of those reasons. But
Yeah, I see you
yeah,
like to write and read. So what's your favorite
yes.
books? What's your favorite books? Do you have a favorite author?
Oh wow. I do have quite a few, like it always is in the reader's mind. But one of my favorite books, it's called Speak by Laurie Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
It's a book about a teenage girl that is raped on a party, on a school party, and she calls the police, but no one knows what happens to her, and everyone is bullying her because she called the police to a party, but eventually other people learn what happened, and they're being supportive of her and trying their best to help her cope with what happened. And recently I discovered that they made a graphic novel adaptation of this book, which I also read. I think it was last year. So that was very good, to be honest. The illustrations and the way they went about it, I enjoyed it really much.
Wow, that's cool.
Or I also just finished one book, My Sister the Serial Killer. It's very interesting. I think it was shortlisted for Women's Prize for Fiction, but I'm not sure. But it was quite short, funny, but also this kind of thriller. So I really recommend the story about two sisters.
Oh, really? It's
Yes,
exciting.
there is very.
Wow. That's cool. That's cool. So, you got two books out. But before we go there, so you like writing, you write poetry?
I write poetry, yeah. But I'm working on writing something longer, maybe a novel, but it will take me a while, I think, because busy with university and studying, but maybe in the future I'll be able to finish my project.
Okay. So tell me about your first book called Finding My Voice Again. Tell us a little bit about that. I know you said it explores your journey to healing after being a survivor of sexual violence, but tell us a little bit, not give us too much, because we don't want everybody to know about the book. We want them to go out there and get it. But tell us a little bit about the book.
Um, so, as you said, it's my first book, and even though I was working on my second book at the same time, I felt like I needed to focus more on this one. I felt like I needed this out of me more to heal, because I was already kind of coping with my depressions and I knew my patterns, but healing from rape, it still is very challenging, and writing is definitely very healing and helps you explore your emotions and what you're feeling inside. So I was writing, it's divided into three parts. So the first one is called The Bleeding Heart. So it explores more of this like toxic relationships part,
Right.
and dealing with other people who hurt you. And then I'm exploring in the second part specifically the sexual violence in different forms that I experience, uh, like being harassed, being assaulted, and raped, to finally get into the part of healing where I'm answering this type of questions like, why do I want to heal? Which was quite an important question that I had to ask myself when I was working with a workbook that I bought some time ago. And I think it was very hard for me to answer at first. But something that I really needed. So yeah, this book is something that I needed to get out of my system. I needed to kind of have a project to get better, and I hope that people can relate. Obviously, I would wish that people didn't have to, like, there were no people who could relate to me. But obviously that is not the case. And I thought maybe someone will get this book and will think that healing is possible, and you are on this road and you are choosing to get better, and you are choosing to speak up and let other people know that you're hurting, and let other people help you to get better.
Right.
It's very close to me.
Wow. That's excellent. That's excellent. And what about this new book that came out? Also called Shadows of My Mind, which is exploring your fight for regarding with depression. Tell me about that.
So as I said, I was working on it at the same time, but I wanted to focus more on the first one at the time. And then when I was finally having more time, I sat down and revised it again and wrote some more. And it was also very challenging because I included my diaries, like pages of my diary, which I was writing when I was really low, as well as I included the drafts of, my suicide notes, basically, which I never gave to anyone. So it was a very hard book to write as well.
Wow.
But I'm also glad that I did it, and it did make me feel better to have this all written down in like one document, in one book, and see the journey that I went through, about how bad it was, about how lonely I was feeling, how desperate really I was, to the healing part when I'm finally finding things that I love about myself, and exploring some affirmations to for the war a little bit bad days, or final seeing hope in the future that I couldn't before, that I can concentrate again, and that really now I'm happy, and which is incredible for me because I couldn't imagine myself being happy anymore.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. Because depression is, it's a lot, and I think everybody goes through some type of depression in their life, some worse than others. And so, and you find that new door, to help you out, and it means a lot. And so, you reading and writing is is therapeutic for you. Am I right? It helps.
Very much, yes. Yes,
Right.
and I
So
think
you,
it's true for a lot of people.
yes. Mhm. And it's helping others that might have gone through what you went through, you know,
Yes,
so
that's
that means a
definitely
lot.
something.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
It means a lot.
yes,
Yes.
definitely. That's definitely something that I did. I was looking for books that were having similar themes to what I was feeling and what was I going through, so I can relate to other people and feel less alone. And that's also something that I hope to do through my
Right.
books.
Yes. That's good. So, you plan on writing more books, huh?
Definitely.
Nice.
I really love writing, and I just hope to just be better and better at it every time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And these books that you have out now are inspired by what you went through in life. Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So these are based on true facts. So that's deep, you know. So are you still going to therapy, or you just figured, you know, I'm gonna do what I
Uh,
can for me?
yeah, for now, no, I'm not in therapy. For now, I'm just working with journals, like guided journals, with different types of therapies or workbooks for specific things, for grief, or I have this healing sexual trauma workbook, but it's amazing, really, and very helpful. And it takes me a long time to go through with it because you have to analyze what it's written. So I always like color certain sentences, and then you have to answer the question. So you have to really dive deep into yourself, and I think that is enough for me, at least at the moment. Um, when it comes to therapy and healing, feeling better about myself,
Right.
I just need like quiet space on my own to sit down and really dive deep into myself.
That's cool. And how do you feel about yourself, Agata? Do understand that it wasn't your fault? Have you gotten to that point where you know it wasn't your fault? Because you know a lot of people blame themselves. Was it my fault? You do understand it wasn't your fault, right?
Yes, yes. I
Okay.
at the beginning it was very hard to
Right.
to understand, but right now I know that like it was not my decision to be hurt. This person decided to hurt me, to not listen to me, and it's on them, it's not on me.
That's right. And I feel like this because I always tell everybody that you have to have self love. But
Yeah.
I want to really stress this with women because sometimes even if you don't feel particularly powerful, um,
Mhm.
you got to think about how far you've come. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about how you survived. You know, you're here. Like, you're here right now. You're alive. You survived. So you're powerful. You know, you're powerful, and and it may not feel sometimes that you are, but you are. You know, and be patient with yourself. You know, everything takes time and healing, but I'm proud of you. And I always I express self love so much. It's so important because we can lose it. You know, anything traumatic can happen in our lives. So sometimes we gotta stop comparing ourselves to others. We gotta stop worrying about others' opinions, you know. We gotta allow ourselves to make mistakes. We gotta remember that you're valuable, you know, and it's not all about the beauty on the outside. That's the problem. That's why women today they do all these different things to themselves, you know, and you don't have to, you know. And sometimes we
Mhm.
gotta let go of toxic people. We gotta be careful of who we call our friends or associates. You know, we gotta process our fears, trust in ourselves, try to make these decisions in our life that's going to better ourselves and take the opportunity to carry our own. And you did that. You know what I mean? You did that. You put yourself first. You felt your pain, but you also brought joy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you got to be proud of yourself, and you're exercising this. You're in school. You almost finished school in criminology. So you saw the beauty in yourself. You took knowledge of that. You know, you was kind to yourself. You know what I mean? No matter what you went through. So kudos to you. You know, and now you got 2 books out, and probably got 50 more coming your way.
Hope
You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, it's gonna be a
I'm doing
movie.
my best.
Yeah, you're doing it. You claimed it already. So I'm proud of you. And you just keep up the good work. What's the future for Agata? What's the future? Before we end this, tell me what's the future.
Um, just finishing university, and then I can do anything.
That's right.
Just keep loving myself, keep writing for sure, and just keep living.
Keep living. That's
I don't
right.
have
What
more
advice
plans.
can Yes. Go ahead. What else you want to say?
I was saying that I don't have any more plans so far. Just move to another country probably, but yeah.
You want to move? You want
Yeah, we
Yeah?
probably don't want to stay here in Malta. It's very small, like it's
Okay.
nice and I like living here now, but we'll see in the future.
Right. Right. That's cool. What advice can you give to someone who maybe have went through this a traumatic episode like you did? What advice can you give them?
I think the most important is not to give up, and I know it's very, very, very hard, but just keep pushing through, just keep fighting for yourself, maybe find some groups for people who went through what we did, or for me it was very helpful. I went to the hospital at some point to make sure that I was okay, and I met very amazing people there who were very helpful and made me feel not alone. And I think you have to find people that make you feel not alone in what you're going through, and that will help you see that it's possible to get better, to feel better, and to just keep living happy.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And what about someone who wants to write? Someone who wants to be an author like you? What advice can you give them to get started?
Um, I think it's also not to give up, to just keep trying again and again and again, and also read a lot, maybe copy some styles, and then you can create your own voice of what you're writing. Like, keep showing your work and be open for criticism, obviously constructive criticism. If someone just says, oh, this is bad, and doesn't say anything, you should maybe look for some other opinion, that can actually help you get better. So
That's
just
cool.
keep do what you
Stop.
do and try to
Yes.
perfect yourself always.
Yes. Yes. Good advice from Miss Agata. Um, So now, where can we find you? Where can the uh viewers that's
So
interested in your two wonderful books, where can you find you at? On social media, Amazon? Tell us where you at.
yes, my books are available on Amazon. If you search for my name, Agata Okon. Also, I'm quite active on Instagram, Facebook a bit less. Also, I have my own website. It's called writtenwhisper.com. So I would love for you to check out. I also recommend books there and give some tips how to publish a book with steps and things like that. So these are really the three most popular ways to find me. 3 ways
Nice.
to find me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good. You ever think about doing any seminars or going to speak? Um, because you were a survivor? You ever think about that? Like just speaking to other women? Have you ever done that before?
I haven't done that. I didn't really think about that. But maybe, who knows?
Right. You'd be
I don't have
surprised.
plans at
Yeah.
all.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you for sharing your story on Listen Up, Listening podcast. I really appreciate that. And I would love to have you back as a guest and maybe, you could talk about your book and your new books that's going to come out because I know you're going to keep writing and
Yes.
your poetry too because you do poetry. So I would love to, hear your poetry and stuff like that. So you're always welcome to come on the show. You could just email me and come on the show and we chit chat and all of that.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you for
Well,
having me.
of course. And I thank you for being here because your story's real deep. And I know there's people out there that's listening and um, they can relate. You know what I mean? And some people are scared to come forward. They don't know what to do. But maybe by listening to your story, they'll come up with a solution to get help and therapy and the treatment that they need because it happens so often to women. And it's a terrible thing that a woman has to experience. So I thank you, Miss Agata, for coming on. I hope I'm saying your name right. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, it's Agata.
Man, I've been
It's good.
saying it. I was messing up. I think I was saying Agata. Your name is,
It's
say it again.
alright.
Agata. It's Agata.
Yes,
Agata, right? All right. I apologize. Agata. Okay, I'm sorry.
I
But
didn't even
anyway,
notice.
okay. I thank you so much for being on the show, and I want you to keep going, stay positive, and keep doing what you're
Thank
doing, and
you.
keep writing, sis. Keep writing.
I will
You know,
certainly.
it's therapeutic. So, and I want to let everybody know out there. Thank you so much for tuning in to Listen Up, Listening podcast. I always say this. All praise to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ every day. Amen. And live, laugh, love. Love you first because you can't love anyone or anything unless you love yourself first. Stay healthy, stay focused, keep God first in your life, and hug and squeeze your family and your pets because they family too. Just a little bit tighter. I love you, mommy and daddy, forever. Thank you for coming on the show, Agata, and we're going to talk soon. Stay in touch.
Yes, thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, this is Agata, and you've just been listening to Listen Up Listening podcast with Prezi. You can check me out on Amazon when you search for my books, Finding My Voice Again and Shadows of My Mind. You can also check me out on my author's website, writtenwhisper.com, and on Instagram when you search for Agata Okonek.
Oh, thank you.
Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me at listenuplistenin5687@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast.
Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Yeah.